Hey, hello everybody. I'm Gilles from LegalFly. I'm a legal AI consultant, and indeed, I'm going to show you how to build a custom AI agent in a couple of minutes. LegalFly, we're a legal operating system. We have custom agents, but we also have out-of-the-box agents. We work with contracting agents, compliance agents, and also research agents. So for today, I want to focus on what our customers need the most sometimes, and that is custom work. And actually, it's a little bit of a paradox in legal AI. They want something highly customized and tailored to their business, but it needs to be usable out of the box. So what is a custom agent? For us, it needs to know what your documents are. So it needs to have the same access to all your resources when you're normally working. Because a custom agent, it needs to act like you yourself, or like a legal counsel or a lawyer. So it needs to access your documents, it needs to follow your standards, and your standards, those are the things how you are going to work. What is your trajectory that you follow? How do you handle your tasks? And that is all the things that you're going to input in a custom agent. And next to that, it needs to be able to handle the repeat work. So it needs to be repeatable. So that's the what. Now we go to the why. Why are we going to use a custom agent? It needs to be consistency. If you're handling these tasks, when we build an agent, it needs to be repeatable. You need to be able to do it a couple of times, 100 times even, and it needs to provide the same output. Next to that, we want to be able to do self-service. So, because when you build a custom agent as a legal team, you also want people, non-legal teams, to be able to use it. The agent that we will build in a few minutes, that's an RFI agent. It's a questionnaire with security questions. You also want non-legal people to be able to use that agent. So that's the self-service part. And we also have the last part, and that is legal needs to stay in control. So because you need to stay in control, the business can move faster. Yeah, you want other people to use it, other people into the business, but you are still setting out the guardrails and making sure that you decide how it's going to be used. All right, so now let's build one. Like I said, let's build something that delays sales cycles, that comes up sometimes with inconsistent answers. You have a lot of compliance risks, and also it's difficult to scale. For us at LegalFly, we also do that internally. We have a lot of security and RFI questionnaires we need to fill in. So what do? We've built an agent around it, so we can just submit our questionnaire, and LegalFly will fill those in for us automatically. So again, here, what does it do? It improves our sales cycles. It comes up with consistent answers. We mitigate the risk of compliance risks, and it's very scalable. How are you going to build it? The first part is, when you're building an agent, we need to give it a role. So what is a role we're giving this custom agent? We're telling it that it's going to be acting as a compliance officer, as a security officer, to get into that role. The second is a task. What does it really need to do? We're going to set it out, making sure it's very clear for the agent to perform that task. The third part I already mentioned as well. We need to give it access to the knowledge, to the same knowledge that you have access to. Because when we're giving the task, it needs to be able to access it. The fourth part, the output format, we are going to give it examples on how the output should look like. And to make it consistent, like we said. Because I think that's a really important part with a custom agent, that it needs to be consistent and repeatable. The fifth one is a quality check. So the agent also needs to be able to make a quality check of its own work, and it needs to give you sources to where the answer is coming from, and making sure they can always check the answer, especially when non-legal people are also using it. And then the sixth part, we need to set out the guardrails for the agent to work in. Well, unluckily, we can't build an agent live here because it's not possible. Well, what we've done, we've built an agent, and I'm going to show you a video and talk you through how it's acting, how it's operating, and how it's acting behind the scenes. As you can see here, we've built the clock RFI agent. We've added the documents and the company information documents. That's the knowledge that we're providing. Now what we're doing is we're adding the documents that we want to fill in. You can see here, it's a questionnaire with a lot of questions, blank questions, and that's what we want the agent to fill in. Now that we've uploaded that document, we can start the agent. So as you can see, you will be able to follow the thought process, the steps that LegalFly is taking. And it's going to look into the document. Now it's going to look into all the knowledge documents that we provided with, and it's going to start generating the output. You see it's generating the output. Now what we see is going to give you sources and references. So in LegalFly you can always click on that source and it will highlight the piece where it's getting the answer from. So again, very important, especially if you want to make it audible and traceable afterwards when using that agent as well. What we've also done is going to give you citations in the answers. So not only going to highlight it in the source, but also going to give you it in the answer itself. Now let's take a look at how we build it in the backend. So you can see here all the answers as it's coming up with these answers, and then now we're going to go to the backend. So what we've done, we're going to give it clear instructions. That's the first step. You can see, and now also we attach the knowledge that we want to work with. In LegalFly, we work with knowledge collections, so you can always add other collections, making sure that LegalFly is only going to look into the sources that you need it to be. Once we've done that, now we take a look at how the instructions are. You remember, we gave it a role, and we are acting as a compliance assistant. We're going to give it a task, how the answer should look, how everything else should look, and also going to give the output format in LegalFly. So all these steps we can take. And now let's take a look at the answer, so how it's coming out. So we can see it's providing with an answer, but of course we want to be able to download the document that it made. So now we can download the document, the Word file, the original one, but now filled in with the answer. So just in a couple of seconds, in a couple of minutes, we were able to fill in a complete RFI with over 50 questions, security questions. If you need to do it manually, if you need to do it by your security officer, it could probably take days before you get it back and delay your sales cycle. I know. So here with this agent, just in a couple of minutes. So I hope today we've been a little bit clear on how it works in LegalFly, how you can build highly customized work, but make it very repeatable by building an agent around it. If you want to know more about how we work and our custom agents, I invite you to stop by at our booth at booth 214, where you can always just book a demo with us, of course. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the event.